Let's talk about diversification. Welcome to episode number 26 of In the Car with Clint. If you haven't picked up on it by now, I am not completely well at the moment. I think the late nights have caught up. So I didn't want to leave you without an In the Car with Clint. So today we're going to talk about diversification. Now, Mr. Warren Buffett says diversification protects against ignorance. And basically, now I'm paraphrasing, if you know what you're doing, you shouldn't have any need to diversify. I had a question on the Instagram from a gentleman by the name of Jared, and he said, can you talk about diversification and what, I guess, it looked like for you? Now, I agree in part with Warren Buffett around diversification. I believe that if you know what you're doing, you should be able to just double down, triple down on what you are doing, and you shouldn't need to diversify. Now, from the outside, people will probably look at my group of companies and suggest that I have diversified and have contradicted myself, but it is not the case, because yes, I have changed lanes, but I am still on the same road. You look at my business, my initial business was WaterPro. WaterPro was a trade first, then retail second irrigation supply business. I then bought railways. I started Lawn Hub, which was similar kind of client base, outdoor stuff, online business, so slightly diversified but not different to the road that we were on. And then I bought railways, which you could argue is completely different again, but same client base, similar product range. Obviously we have irrigation at both places. The fourth business I'm working on at the moment, which is an app, is in line with those things. Now, I've probably talked about this briefly before, but if I was to start a restaurant now, that would be stepping, I guess, not just changing lanes, but changing highways, and that's when I would probably expose myself to the most risk, because it's not something in line with what I'm already doing. So I just wanted to talk about that and I guess explain some of my thought process behind buying railways, and then maybe that will help you in some way. So when WaterPro was first conceived in the eyes and the minds of myself and my former business partner, we discussed the potential of WaterPro being in, I guess, initially a 3-location in South Australia business, and then moving into the rest of the world or the rest of the country. I didn't have a goal around it being a $100 million company until kind of further down the path, and that was connected to me wanting to have a big enough goal that I didn't stop and celebrate when I hit my targets. I had a bad habit of kind of setting goals that were just achievable or just above achievable, and then hitting them and then celebrating for 12 months. So WaterPro, one of my goals was for WaterPro to turn over $3 million. I hit that goal, went out to celebrate, and then 12 months later realized I was still celebrating and we were still only turning over $3 million. So I set that lofty goal. Now, Railways was brought to me as an opportunity off the back of the social media that we were doing, and it just made sense to buy a business that was in a similar market to what we were doing, and it was in line with me growing WaterPro, so we did it. Now, in hindsight, it was a great idea, especially off the back of everything that went down in the world. You know, the landscape supply business was one of the businesses that weren't dramatically affected. In fact, would probably benefit from the government mandated lockdowns and people not being able to travel. So it was probably an accidental genius kind of thing, but it wasn't outside of off the road. So sorry, I am really scattered today, but I did want to make a video. So I bought railways because it was in line with that goal, and I guess I don't know whether or not we would buy another landscape supplies yard. I think if one came up for sale for the right deal and it was in the north of South Australia, we would probably buy it and then kind of lock down that final location for what would be our 4th irrigation location. And then we'd cover north and south for landscape supplies, but it would need to be a good deal. So, and I'm not kidding, if anyone is watching this and owns a landscape supplies yard in Gawler or Williston or Angle Vale or Virginia and are genuinely looking to exit, please contact me, because I would definitely look at the deal. I think that it would be a good time for us to do that. So yeah, let me know. And then but then the main focus for us is to grow WaterPro. WaterPro is a more scalable business. It doesn't require as much infrastructure to be purchased, and the return on investment is much better. So owning landscape supplies business is definitely not the easiest way to make money, but it was in line with what we were trying to do, so we did it. So yeah, I guess all I'm trying to say is, if you are doing something and doing something well, be careful if you diversify, and try to make sure that you're diversifying for the right reasons, and that you're not just doing it because it's there. The more successful you get, the more opportunities will be presented to you, and you don't have to say yes to them all. So yeah, that's 6 minutes. I don't want to go for too much longer. Sorry if that was a bit sketchy. I promise you, after Easter, I'll be back to my usual fire, and yeah, be kind to each other. Enjoy Easter if you are celebrating, and if you're on the roads, don't be a dick. Just be patient. You're better off getting there 5 minutes late than not at all, or whatever the poster is. Yeah.